So let's talk about performance and limitations. What are some things that affect the performance of your aircraft?
So we have atmospheric conditions, configuration of the aircraft, and could also be pilot technique as well.
Yeah. With atmospheric conditions, what are some examples of things that would affect your performance?
So it could be the overall weather. We also have temperature. It could be super, super hot and the plane just will not perform. Altitude could be another one as well. Like it could be the difference between taking off here at sea level or taking off in an airport like Denver, which the elevation is 6,000. So that could be another one.
Yeah. So how, I mean, alluded to it with the performance, but how does temperature generally affect performance?
So the hotter it is, the less the aircraft will perform.
Yep. And do you know why?
Density altitude? No, that's not density altitude. What's the word for it? Hotter it is.
So is the air more dense or less dense?
Yeah, I was getting to that. The air is less dense, so there's not enough like airflow, like being produced, like not enough thrust being produced, just because there's not enough air due to the heat and the weather.
So you mentioned thrust. There's two other ways that it'll affect performance of your aircraft. Do you know what those are?
So the propeller won't perform as well, the engine won't perform as well, and there's not enough airflow over the wings.
Right. So you mentioned it before. Generally, we refer to that as what type of altitude?
Density altitude?
Yeah. So if we have less dense air, what type of density altitude is that referring to? Would that be low density altitude or high density altitude?
High.
You also mentioned aircraft weight. So how would weight affect performance of your aircraft?
So if we have less weight, then the plane will generally feel like a feather in the sky. Not actually, but kind of the same. But if it's heavier, then our takeoff will be a lot longer, and our landing distance will be a lot longer as well. And climb rate will be generally horrible. A higher stall speed and higher maneuvering speed could be another one as well.
Right. So that's the weight portion of it. Now how about loading? So where you place that weight in the plane is also going to affect your performance. So with a forward center of gravity, how's that going to affect performance?
So the forward center of gravity, our stalls will be a little bit better, but it'll increase drag, and it'll be harder to climb since we have a forward aft or forward center of gravity in terms of weight.
Yeah. But you mentioned stalls. So how would it affect your stalls?
So with a forward center of gravity, it would be harder to stall already because the load is more to the front anyway. And in a recovery, the nose will just automatically, in the event of a stall, our nose will automatically want to just push forward just because we are heavier on the front side of the plane versus the rear, since the rear will just have more of a center of gravity to the back and want to pitch up a lot more.
So if we look at maybe a side profile of an airplane. So with a forward center of gravity, how would that plane look as it's flying?
Look like that. Look like that?
Yep.
With a forward? Oh, because it's trying to pitch up a lot more.
Yep. So you need more tail down force to counter the forward center of gravity.
And then if you have tail down, if you have more to the aft, then you would have to be pitching down a lot more.
Right.
Did I mix up my words on everything?
No, just on a couple. So you said.
Okay.
So you said stall. You didn't say stall speed, but you said it would be harder to stall.
That would be easier to stall.
Right.
Okay.
So why would it be easier to stall?
Because you're already pitching nose up, and you have to counteract that with a lot more power because you have a forward center of gravity. So more power just kind of keeps the nose a little bit higher and a higher pitch setting as well.
Right. So that angle, what do we refer to that as?
The angle of attack.
Right. So again, is your stall speed going to be higher or lower?
It'd be higher.
In stall recovery, would it be better or worse?
Recovery would be worse because you're pitching up a lot more. Oh,
So stall speed is
speed is higher, but the recovery is a lot easier because the nose wants to just pitch down considering of the forward center of gravity.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of mix up with the words. Got it.
Yeah, if you can kind of like trace it back to how's it affecting the angle of attack, because it all falls back to angle of attack.
Yeah.
So, and then, all right, high angle of attack, that's going to mean slower cruise speed, more fuel burn, higher stall speed,
Increased drag.
increased drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's going to be messing with that performance.
Got it.
So now with an aft or rearward center of gravity, how's that going to affect your performance?
Okay. With the aft center of gravity, our performance will be slightly better. We won't have as much increased drag and a faster ground speed. That is, yep, faster ground speed. And our stall speed will be lower, but also our recovery won't be as easy due to the fact that we have an aft center of gravity and due to the angle of attack that we need to be pitching nose down. So in a stall, due to the fact that it is aft, the angle of attack will be a lot higher. So it'll be a lot harder to recover in a stall.
Right. So you mentioned the word drag. What is drag?
So drag is the opposite of thrust. So with more thrust, there's going to be a lot more drag. So the drag would basically mean the rearward act in which the plane is like being pulled back due to thrust as well.
Okay. So what are the different types of drag?
So we have induced drag, we have parasite drag.
Yep. So what are some examples of parasite drag?
So we have 3 different types of parasite drag. We have skin friction, interference, and form. So types of form could be like the wheels, the struts itself, could be the wings, and the elevator as well.
All right. How about skin friction?
Skin friction, wouldn't that just be like the overall flow of the aircraft itself? Just like the design of it, just kind of the airfoil,
Yeah. It's like the surface of the plane.
the surface. Oh, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Surface.
Yeah, surface, because anything under a microscope is not smooth. So your paint is not smooth. You have rivets, you have screws, you have antennas.
Yeah.
All of that's playing into drag. Interference drag, what's that?
So interference drag is the point at which 2 airflows are hitting each other due to like the different attachment on like an aircraft.
Yeah. And induced drag, what causes induced drag?
How do I best explain induced drag?
A byproduct of lift.
That's it? Okay, but then I know I'm gonna ask why.
So it's a byproduct or consequence of lift. So like a byproduct of your car running is carbon monoxide.
Okay.
But anytime you create lift, you also create drag. Part of that is due to the downwash angle. So when you're creating lift, your airflow goes like that.
Yeah.
And now you're producing lift perpendicular to that angle.
Okay.
So if we look at a wing, downwash angle. So you're producing lift perpendicular to that. So this is going backwards. And so that's slowing you down.
Okay. So, yeah, it's byproduct of lift. It's like the opposite reaction of it. Like no matter how much lift we're causing or like creating, there's a lot more induced drag. So the higher the number, the higher it is.
So does induced drag increase or decrease with airspeed?
Increases. No? Is it because you're not creating enough lift?
Yep. And parasite increases with speed because the faster you go, it's like putting your hand out the car
I'm
on the
just gonna
freeway.
shoot you straight back.
Yep.
Okay.
So at a lower airspeed, you need a higher angle of attack.
Oh, which causes more drag.
Yep. At a faster airspeed, you have a
Lower drag.
Yep.
Well, lower induced drag, but a lower parasite drag.
Lower angle of attack, lower
Yep.
induced drag, but more parasite drag.
But we still have drag.
Yep.
But there's no drag on the ground. Of course. And total.
Yeah. So it's a trade-off.
So what's the word in the middle? I know it says total, but isn't there like a word or like an explanation for like the middle point at which like they're both just like meeting in the middle? Like at a certain speed?
Yeah, there's other charts like lift to drag max.
Is that the ratio? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Honestly, byproduct of lift is
The easiest way to say it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. We'll just go with that.
So byproduct of lift, what is lift?
So lift is where lower pressure on top is meeting the high pressure from the bottom and causing the airplane wants to lift up due to that airflow. The high pressure wants to lift itself, wanting to like lift itself up with the smooth airflow that's on the top. So with an increase of angle of attack, there's more of that causing the airplane want to go up.
What does Bernoulli's principle tell us?
Opposite reaction. No. That's that's Newton's third law, right? So Newton's third law is like every action has the opposite reaction to that. So when one smooth airflow from the top hitting the bottom, more violent airflow from the bottom, causing the airplane to go up. All right. Bernoulli's principle is velocity increases, pressure decreases. That's it.
Yep.
All right.
So how does that relate to lift now?
So low pressure above the wing, high pressure below the wing, which then creates lift. So velocity increases, pressure decreases. Trying to say it in the best way possible. With a higher velocity, then creates a higher pressure and lower pressure, there's like a lot of vortices. I'm like digging myself a hole here.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't put it together.
Yeah, so the principle explains that as the velocity of a fluid increases, the pressure drops.
Okay.
So how that pertains to your lift is that airflow over the top of your wing travels faster than air below it.
Okay.
So you create an area of low pressure on top, area of high pressure underneath it. That combined with Newton's law is that
every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
right. So that is explaining the downwash angle that we just talked about.
Okay.
So since you have a downwash angle, airflow is going this way. So the opposite reaction is to push the plane this
go
way.
up. Okay.
So pressure differential along with downwash angle. That's all it is.
Pressure differential along with downwash angle. Okay. Can I just say that?